version, which you have over many lifetimes, and especially during this one, carved out the specific details of what you want to live. Hooking up with that vibrational version of who you are, not just because you want to have those things and be those things and know those things that you've been looking for, not just because you want the answers to your questions or the solutions to your problems, but because only in that full alignment are you living the way you intended when you came forth into this physical body. You said, I'll go forth and I'll reach for more, and I'll line up with the more that I've discovered, and then I'll reach for more again, and then I'll line up with the more that I've discovered, and then I'll reach for more again. More clarity, more love, more agility, more physical well-being, more mental stimulation, more things that are exciting, more things that are fun, more life experience, more. That's the mantra of this universe. It's why you come again and again and again. It's why you continue to add to, because you know, at least you knew before coming into this physical body, that you are an eternal being, and that there is no ending to that which you are, and that this life experience is perfectly established in order to be the perfect balancing off place for you individually and collectively, but personally, to identify new intentions, new desires, new becoming, new expansion. So there is a basis of your beingness. We call it a triad of intentions of freedom and growth and joy. You are so free you can choose bondage. You are so free you can choose thoughts that pinch you off from your resources. You are so free that you can choose thoughts that are life-giving. You are free to choose. No one can think for you. No one can offer a thought for you. No one can vibrate for you, and no one can be your point of attraction. It's you. It's just you. You are so free that you can choose to feel however you want to feel in any moment. Freedom is the basis of your experience. Your quest is joy, because when you reach for moments in time where you feel that rapturous joy, that means you've discovered alignment with the whole of who you are. So that's the most important part for you consciously to be aware in this triad of intentions. If you let your quest be for joy, then you'll always, or most always, be in alignment with the broader part of you. And then, of course, the result of all of this is expansion. You don't have to reach for joy in order to have expansion, because life's going to show you contrast and you're going to continue to expand. But you do have to reach for joy in order to live the expansion that you've discovered. So if you feel negative emotion for any reason, no matter how justified you are, when you feel negative emotion, you're simply not allowing the expansion that you have arrived at vibrationally. And that is, in fact, you don't know it and you don't even want to believe it, but we're going to say it to you anyway. That's the reason that there is a diminishment of joy every single time. The reason you don't feel joy is because you're not in alignment with the whole of you, and that's the only reason you're ever upset about anything. Did you hear that? The only reason that you're ever upset about anything is because you haven't let yourself be what you've come to. No, Abraham, I'm pretty sure that I'm just mad at that guy. I'm pretty sure it's the circumstance that is the reason for my negative emotion. We say it's the excuse you're giving. It's the focus you're choosing. But the reason you don't feel good is because you don't feel good. That's worth writing down. So I don't feel good because I don't feel good. I want my money back. But that really is what's going on. The reason that you feel so angry or so upset or so disenfranchised or so victimized is because you're choosing something right here, right now, that is not allowing you to be in full vibrational alignment with all that you are. And that, we want to choose the most spiritual word we can find, sucks. It's just awful. It's just awful when you are not in alignment with who you are. And that's why you get so animated in your wanting to cast blame. It just feels awful when you don't feel good, doesn't it? It just feels awful. It feels awful because you're denying yourself the wholeness of who you are. You're a diminished part of who you are. You're not fulfilling your reason for being here in this moment. However, we would like to encourage you not to beat up on yourself too much about that, because even in negative emotion, there is value. Because how do you know what you really want? How do you discover who you really are until you taste a little bit of what you don't want? It's part of the deciphering process. So as we're moving forward here today, we want to, if you want to, and you do, because we want you to. No, it's not. We want to explore more fully the idea, the really law-based idea, that negative emotion is not a bad thing, it's a good thing, because it's a clarifying thing, because it helps you to define more clearly the direction that you're wanting to go. So we've told you everything that we know that matters to you. And now we are eager to chew with you on the nitty-gritty of what's up with you. It is our expectation that this will be a wonderful unfolding, and that together we will experience that expansion. But the best part of a gathering like this is that triad of intentions of freedom and growth and joy are all experienced fully. There are all kinds of things in your world going on. You're having personal, first-hand exposure to a lot of things, and you're watching a lot of things vicariously through your news media and television and so forth. But just the same, doesn't matter how it's coming to you, your attention to it means you are practicing a vibration of it. And as you are practicing a vibration of it, then you are establishing and continuing to establish, you are practicing into beingness a point of attraction. A grid, a point of attraction that law of attraction is responding to. So when we ask the question, do you know what you want? Here's the trickery in it, because knowing is having practiced it long enough that I own it and it comes about easily. Practicing it so much that no matter what happens, I still know that. That when something happens that might upset most people who are experiencing it, instead I stand steady in it because I know that things are always working out for me. That I know, because I know that I am the center of my vibrational point of attraction, and that because I have the ability to think on purpose, and more important, because I have the ability to feel about what I'm thinking, and so I have the ability to guide myself gently into more and more good feeling thoughts, now I have control of my vibration, and therefore I know what I want. Now the reason that it was tricky, and we know we haven't won you over yet, the reason it was tricky when we said, do you know what you want, is because you, like most people, think that just by identifying it is enough. And we want you to understand that just by identifying it isn't enough, because you have already set it all into motion. You've been sifting through contrast and variety, and you've been asking for what you want. Whether you put words to it or not, there is a vibrational rocket of desire that has been emanating from you, that's been gathering in the vortex, in the vibrational reality. It's been gathering, and it is already done. But until you know what you want, until you know it so well that you've practiced it so often that it comes easily to you to know it, until you know it because you can feel it in your belly, you can feel it, you know it because it feels like enthusiasm, it cannot manifest. So really, the fairest thing for us to have said to you is, you can only really make us believe that you know what you want if what you want is happening now, happening now, happening now, happening now. And a lot of what you want is. A lot of what you want is happening now. A lot of it is. A whole lot of it is. You are stable in so many ways. There is so much well-being that you know and therefore are living every single day. But when we